Welcome back to 420 Chief. Today I'm in the studio on a virtual live with my man Frizz. And Mr. Frizz himself served 21 years in the world's finest Navy and has become a good buddy of mine through TikTok. And over the course of just a few
Huh.
months, I watched Frizz go from he had a couple of cats making cat videos to now he has his very own service animal, Bean. There's Bean right
Big
there.
Bean.
How you doing today, Frizz?
She doing all right. Had me some special hot chocolate this morning with some coffee, and I'm doing all right. Doing
I
all
wa
right.
I did wanna talk about that special hot chocolate because I myself had some of that when I was at Laney's up in New York,
Yeah.
building out that school bus, with Schoolies for Vets that he'll donate later to a homeless veteran, so that'll help somebody out. But while I was there, Laney hooked up all the material, and I did in fact have that RSO hot chocolate. And I felt it. I got a great response from it. I know you yourself have mentioned you have that liver problem where the edibles and stuff don't impact you.
Yeah, I can eat edibles all day long. It's like eating candy. The only thing I'm gonna get from it is fat. But this chocolate, I could feel it. It was nice and mellow today. It's nice and mellow this morning.
Feeling pretty
Really
good?
good. Yeah, it didn't do like like what you guys said it did to you guys, but I felt very relaxed and calm and peaceful.
And for those who aren't aware of what he's talking about, Chief here, I overdid it. And a wise woman once said, "Do you have to do everything at once?" And my response is always, I'm extra. I've always been extra. So yeah, I indulged in a couple, 2, 3, 4 J's that night. I had a muffin that I was told was a very strong muffin to be careful with, and I was like, "Okay, I'm going to bed." I was carefully smashing it, not to choke, but I did eat the whole thing, and I did I chugged a glass of that hot chocolate, and I think, approximately 45 minutes later, Frizz, I was gripping the edge of the bed. I mean, I was beyond outer space, so it
Well,
definitely
I
maybe the
I
trifecta
usually
might
call
help it.
oh sorry, I usually call my mom about 9 o'clock in the morning, just check in with her and stuff. And I drank it and I didn't expect nothing to happen. I'm sitting there and I'm humming away up here going, ooh, stay calm when you're talking to mom.
Yeah.
But it was good, man. It was good chocolate. Laney's amazing.
Well, I
Great
really
lady.
I appreciate what she's doing, and right now, currently, she has, something going on called Operation Tree Drop, and she had solicited for veterans in need of their medicine during the holiday season, and she's really coming out of pocket for the product, which is more than just flour. She's also got, like we talked about, the RSO hot chocolate. She's got,
I got
um,
some candy canes dipped in chocolate.
dipped
Came
yeah,
with it a pink
with
runts.
those also have RSO on them, just so you know, and so do the
I know.
marshmallows.
And I
But
ate, oh, the marshmallows do too, because I ate them all today.
yes, they do.
It was
Yeah, you
nice.
you definitely did it to it. I'm glad that you're feeling that. But, I even got some Magic Balm from her, which is just some topical.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I
Now I
really
got
I like that
I
for those
got
who don't
this
wanna
one.
get high, they just wanna kill some pain. Okay.
Can you see how that is? This is the stuff I brought back from my recent trip. She only gave me like that much, but it's eucalyptusy smelling, and it works. It works really good. So you're getting the benefit of the eucalyptus and the THC. Yeah, I got that one too.
Yeah.
I can't get it right now because I have a hippopotamus on me.
Aw, she's such a sweetheart.
She's
Um,
really good.
Tell us a little bit about Bean, how long you've had her, and a little bit of her history.
Well, here's the history that I know and that I've been told. She was a stray. Now, I don't know how a purebred boxer, I mean, not boxer, she looks like a little boxer. Purebred Boston Terrier can be homeless and running the streets down in Texas. Well, there's an organization down there called Warrior's Heart, and they take military, not active military, they take military and first responders. who might have drug, alcohol addictions. They go down there for treatment. And they all have a different job they can do. You can help out in the kitchen, you can do this or that. Well, my brother went down there, and one of his things he did, he said, I'd like to volunteer down at the kennel. Well, the lady had this dog, and she'd been fostering it for the right vet, but Bean didn't like anybody until she met my brother, and then she went right to him. So that's how he got Bean. So we don't know a lot of her history. She's 6 by the estimate of the vet. She's had a complete hysterectomy. She got probably clawed in the right eye by a cat or something. She's a little scared of cats, but she was trained to be an emotional support animal. And she's kind of lost some of her ability, but I'm working on her to get it back up and running. But yeah, so I went down to a wedding and she came back with me because they said that she needed you more than she needed to be where she was. So they transferred her over to me, and she's become my buddy. We do all kinds of stuff together.
I noticed the first thing I noticed, I think the day after you had brought her home, was you immediately took her out for a walk. And I thought in my head, if nothing else, this dog is getting him up and active because she seems like the type that's going to keep you on your toes a little bit unless you're sitting there cuddling.
Yeah, well, like right now, we do go out and we go around. The other night we went and got some ice cream, because it's just nice to have somebody that really does appreciate you being around, you know. And she's made a big difference. I was telling my mother today that one of the things that Daniel told me was that one of the things that a service dog does that a lot of people don't realize is it re-engages the person with society. Because a lot of people self isolate, me, and become hermits and don't do anything. But when you have a dog, everybody loves dogs, just about, and everybody wants to know what she is and everything about her. So it's re-engaged me. I didn't realize that how much till I talked to my mom today, and she's like, and I was telling her what these dogs do, and I was thinking, well, shit, that's what it's doing for me. Not just what Daniel said; it's what's going on with me.
I like talking about this because it really it resonates, and I've met a lot of folks. We've even had Doc on here who has an amazing service animal named Alma, but I myself have Striker, and when I hear you talking about it and some of the feedback you've received, that resonates with me. And after you got yours, I started to become more hyper focused on the other individuals I've met, like Daniel, who is the fluffy poodle guy on social media platforms. Great guy, his poodle, phenomenal, but it made me realize how much more they do than I think people can even realize for us.
Yeah, even when like her trigger word is supposed to be hug. And when I say it, she's supposed to get up, she gets up underneath your chin and gets all over you to be a pest to get you up and get you motivated. But she's kind of lost that. So I got to reinstill it back into her. But it's kind of neat because the other day I was having a little problem and she stayed right by me. I was just petting her. She didn't crawl all over me, but she knew to stay right beside me. And that's for me a big help. I didn't think it would be. I'm like, I got 2 cats. How much can a freaking dog make in my life? Much of a difference. I think it's made a big difference.
It really does, and like you had mentioned, even being out socially, it gets you out there, and it kinda takes a little bit of that pressure off of, people are looking at me, to now it's like people are looking at the dog. Like I tell
Yeah,
people, "Striker's cool, man." Like, why would people look at me when he's over here doing shit, jumping for frisbees and being all pretty? So it certainly, and especially with her, she's so ugly, she's just so adorable.
exactly. Exactly. One of the things that they were telling me, I went to a obedience school yesterday to see about getting some training for me because I don't know how to handle a dog the correct way. And with that would come training for her. It's way beyond what I would want to pay. But one of the things was that she listens, she follows rules. They evaluated her, so oh, she'd be good fit for this, that, and the other. And I was like, now I know what she can do. Now let's see what I can do with her. And it's been a good thing. I have come to the realization that there's more things that I want to do in my life. And one of them they mentioned yesterday, and I didn't talk to you about this yet, but there's a certification you can get that you can take your dogs to, like retirement homes, hospitals, things like that. I'd like to take her to like veteran places because I think that would be helpful for a lot of these old vets. That like that Gulf Breeze that we paid for our whole career. That would be nice to take her somewhere like that so people would be able to see her.
Yeah, that's amazing. Have you ever experienced that yourself, where somebody would bring in a support animal?
Kind of. When I worked at the barracks in Jacksonville, they used to bring the two dogs who Bob and Pasquale. Pasquale was bomb, Bob was drug. So that's the only experience I ever had with like dogs coming in and doing anything,
Okay.
in my 21 years.
I asked that because, upon return back stateside from a mobilization in Kuwait, I was staying at the USO there, in between flights, and they had brought in these Shelties, and, they had,
These are
you know
nice dogs.
yeah, they had a cool vest on, and they were support animals, and this one came right up to me. I was sitting in the chair, and it just came right up to my shins, and I just sat there, and I petted it, and I realized, like, this dog, it feels me, and he's doing his job, he's working, and I thought, "What
Yeah,
an amazing experience," and
yeah.
it really helped me, and I think from that moment on, I really kind of saw the power behind a support animal or a service dog.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed about service dogs is there's service dogs that are real legitimate service dogs. And then there's Betty with her little foo-foo Pomeranian in her purse that she just wants to carry into the restaurant with her. And it gives real service dogs, I think, and people that handle service dogs kind of it's like, oh, they're just getting over, on society because it says you can't ask. Well, the people that need them, and the people that don't are just doing it just because they can. That's not fair to everybody that has them. And I'm working on something without giving too much away. I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm working on to get service member service animals that just the service people are taken care of, kind of like an insurance, but not really an insurance, but different things that help us. Because I found out that when not just talking to my about my dog, because it's a different way I got my dog, is that people that get them, once you get them, all right, here's the keys to the new Ferrari on the Autobahn. And you're like, ooh, I've only backed around in the parking lot. So I want to start doing something like that. I've thought about it for years, but it really came to a head when I got her.
Right.
So
We covered a lot
that's one of
there,
the things
but, what you said was it sounds like you would like to start some type of organization or nonprofit to where you could financially compensate veterans with service animals' health benefits. So if something happened to that animal, you would want to, first validate that that is in fact a service member and that is in fact their service dog, not just a pet. And from
exactly.
there, then help them pay the cost, whether it's a surgery or a cancer or just an accident,
It
because that
might be something. It might be something as simple. Well, not as simple, but the hurricane that happened down in Appalachia. I knew there were service animals down there, and they probably needed some food. So you'd be able to get emergency food supplies that somebody could just drop ship like Amazon. Here's a couple cans until you can get through to what you need to do. Help a service member out. Because today I was reading that most people that have service dogs um, are one vet bill away from big financial problems if it's $1,000 or more.
Well, just think about
And,
that. How many
and
people are
that's very
limited or
easy to
fixed in
get.
yeah, limited or
The-
fixed income families with an animal, if something, unplanned happened where it's 1,000, 2,000, $3,000, myself, I would be looking to sell a vehicle at that point. Like, I gotta start selling shit around town.
exactly, exactly, exactly. Because, it's just been a month with her. And it's already one of those things where, man, I'm going to fight a bear if something, to get money to help this one out. And I know if I am this person thinking like there's just got to be other people in this position, and if I can help them out, I don't want nothing for it. I just want to help them out because nobody's helping people out that I can find, you know. So
It's
it's
if
kind
it's
of what
out
I'm working on.
if it's out there, it's definitely hard to find. I myself have done a little research. I even tried to use AI to help find it, and there's really not that much out there. There are a significant amount of programs, not hard to find to get a service animal. But one of the things you had mentioned earlier is once you have a service animal, it's like, here you go. And what I found is that just like with anything good, it takes a lot of work, maintenance, practice. You've got to ensure you've got a good, healthy diet for the animal, exercise, and you have to continue training because if you're treating your service animal, who in their mind, it's time to go to work, I've got to do my job. If you stop doing that, then they start to slip and they start to lose it. So you've got to kind of keep them sharp and you've got to keep you sharp as well. And
But
to
yeah, yeah.
and that kinda goes hand in hand with what you had talked about earlier with people saying it's a service dog when it's really just a pet and they're using that, you can tell. And the way
Yeah,
that I know
exactly.
you can look at the dog, and if the dog's, pottying inside and barking at people or biting at people for no reason, then you can kinda tell that it's not a trained animal because those are the basic requirements is you're responsible for that animal. If it
Right,
bites
right.
someone, that's on you. That's a potential lawsuit. So it's important, like the training, like you and I do, is take them to places, introduce them to people, introduce them to other animals. And
Well, I figure that they're kind of like people in the way where, you know, you and I, with our military career, there was many times you were probably sent through some sort of refresher course on your job because you don't use everything in your wheelhouse all the time and you forget some stuff. So you get refreshed on it, you study. And I think that they're probably like this too. If it's something that they're not continuously doing, they will push it out of their mind. It should be easy to get her back into the training mode like that because I imagine it's like a bike. It might take you a couple tries, but oh, you're back on it. You're like, I didn't forget how. So yeah, I want to work with that. People who can train and help other service people to maintain that, uh, like they had when they got the dog the first time,
yeah,
you know.
I do. And it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work on the handler as well. Like, I'm currently vest training Spike. When he was born, I didn't know for sure if he would have that in him, if he had that type of intellect. But having Striker, he watches Striker and Striker's cues. Now Spike watches me, and that's one of the first things that I teach my service animals is like me. Like if there's something distracting them, you need to be able to come back to me and watch me, and that's where it begins. So he started to really watch me, and he's learning, but it's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work, especially if you just have the one dog that doesn't have another dog to cue off of. And not all dogs can do it, to be honest. Like you gotta be very selective, and also there's a relationship with that animal that you have to have that chemistry with the animal. Like you had said in the story, they said it seems like she needs you more than, you know, she needed them because she chose you. And I think that when you find that dog that you love that chooses to love you back, then you have to have that connection if you want it to be a successful relationship as a service or support animal.
Yeah, that's why I try to take really good care of her. I make sure she gets the correct nutrients, probably a little more nutrients than she needs right at the moment, but we're working on that too. And keep her clean, keep her nails trimmed. There's a lot to it that I didn't realize. Just having dogs when I was a kid, they were dogs. I didn't know mom and dad did anything with them special if there was, but and most of them were outside dogs. But there's a lot to taking care of a service animal if you want to keep your service animal. It's like a car. You got to keep it tuned up. You got to take it to the shop. You got to oil it, grease it, give it the right stuff. Garbage in, you get garbage out.
Yep. And you have to provide them a balanced lifestyle too. It can't be work all the time. Like, there's gotta be a
Right.
good between, they know when it's playtime and they know when it's time to work, and that's another dead giveaway if the animal's not being trained is they'll play during work time. You can kinda tell. And then I see a lot of folks that'll do that. They'll take their vest off, like, on a beach. And it's one thing to walk your service animal on the beach, but it's another to let them loose and let them play, run and play. Like,
Right.
that's
Right.
poor training. So there's little indicators to look out for. Did you know there's more than, like, service animal related, there's more animals than just dogs?
Yeah. People got ferrets, snakes,
Well,
cats,
that's for support animals, but
emotional. Yeah.
yeah, but for actual service animals, you can get mini horses because they can serve as a guide animal. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, some people would rather have that because they live a little longer, and they're larger than, most dogs.
I, I, I'm, I was lucky I was able to get a dog. I don't think I could get a service horse,
I don't think
even
I
if it
could
was a
either.
mini one.
It'd be hard to get it places. You gotta get it tennis shoes too for real, they have tennis shoes for when they're walking on slippery surface.
I've seen them. Used to go to the was it Muckleshoot's Casino up in Washington State, and there was a lady that used to come. She had a Dodge Caravan, and she had her mini horse in there. She had all the seats on the horse and just ride in there. And I was like, yeah, I ain't doing that either. Take all my seats out and put hay in the back of my no, no. Maybe I don't know. Maybe if I had a horse, it would.
I don't know. I would consider getting horses, but probably not a mini horse and definitely not as, like a service animal. I would just use it to ride trails.
Well, that's the one thing. Like the rescue ranch.
Yeah,
They do that with their people come out to therapy. Well,
yeah.
there's a place around here. I just seen the sign the other day, therapy horse riding. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Well, we've met, Jeff Rescue Ranch
Yeah,
on
from
TikTok.
rescue ranch.
Yeah, he's got a couple, 2 or 3 horses, and that's what he's doing out there. He has a legitimate 501c to where they
Yep.
have veterans come out in Colorado, and it's beautiful land. Like, I saw a video that he'd put up, and it's just the mountains. You've got Colorado is beautiful, and you can see it all from where he's at. But I think they do more than just the rescue animals. They also do, like, the healing drum circles
Yeah.
and s
I think he mentioned that last time I heard him talking.
I've never done one of those, nor I've only actually rode a horse one time, but I would love to. So I'm gonna set up a time to go out there to Jeff's and check it out, and
And that would be nice. But I
yeah,
know that they help a lot of people. The horse riding has
yeah,
taken a lot of people, not just people with
up swine,
PTSD, but people with special needs.
yeah,
They help out a lot with special needs, especially young kids. It's really nice to see.
and I've heard that the horses are very big empaths too, like, they can feel the vibe,
Yeah,
just yeah, like dogs and snakes, I heard.
snakes are cool. Spiders aren't, but snakes are cool.
How's that hot chocolate feeling? You feeling any better, any worse?
No, I'm just maintaining. I had it this morning, so it's kind of gone. But when it hit, it was just nice. It was nice.
So
You
since
know,
we're on that, like, what did you notice from that? Did it take away any pain, or was it more of, mental clarity?
it was a little more of the mental clarity with it. It didn't really take away any pain that I could feel. Um, but I do have different stuff that does take away different pains. Doesn't get rid of them fully. It just kind of makes them definitely manageable to where I'm
Right.
like, whatever.
I
It's
can
a
sleep
little
through
ache.
this.
Yeah, exactly. I can sleep. I got I got some purple something upstairs. A little bit of that, before bed. And sleep pretty damn good.
When I do a lot of these, meetups and I talk to people across the nation and interview veterans, and the most common, reason that the veterans I've talked to use cannabis is for sleep. I thought it would be for mental or pain, but all of them told me they started using it for sleep, and without something, they would not sleep. So I thought that was
Well,
pretty interesting.
my journey started a couple years ago. A guy I worked with says, "Hey, man, there's this stuff out there that you don't pop on a urinalysis." I said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, it's called CBD." So I checked into it and started going to a CBD store because it wasn't legal here. Medical was, but not rec. So I started doing that. And I always told everybody I wouldn't do it unless it was legal because they're never going to make it legal. Well, the CBD helped me sleep. I noticed if I got different ones, I didn't feel as achy. So then when Maryland made it legal, rec and med, veteran company called me and said, "Hey, instead of the $225 for your yearly thing, it'll only be $22 for your license for medical. Sign me up." I signed up, and that day, July 1st, when it became legal over a year ago, I was there at the store. First day, I said, "I'm new. Tell me what to do." And they gave me some stuff for my anxiety, and I'll tell you what, it took it right away. Made my anxiety go right away. And I experienced or experimented for a while till I found you, started getting into stuff. Now I kind of know what's going to do what for me. And that's been working. Somebody told me that young people do it to get high. Old people do it because we hurt.
There's some truth to
We,
that. There's really
and I
some.
think there is. I really do.
And I appreciate you bringing that up because when I started experimenting with cannabis and I realized for one, there are so many different ways of consuming it. For
Yeah,
two, there are types of it that don't even get you high for those that
exactly.
feel like, they don't wanna lose control. And then I learned even more than that, that there's these different terpenes that have different healing properties, and then there's different strains. So, I mean, there's some that's good for anxiety, there's some that's good for sleep, pain, inflammation, you name it. There's a medicinally studied and an independently researched strain for that. And so I was like, "Holy shit, nobody really can tell me what's what." It's pretty much, "Do you want indica? Do you want sativa? Do you want energy or do you want sleep?" And I'm like, "No, I want a lot of things." And so what I started doing was just trying it all, you
Yeah,
know? I wanted to find out what I liked, what worked for me, and along the way, what I realized in real life was GMO, I can smoke that and I can sit and have a 2-hour conversation with my mother, whereas if I didn't smoke it, I can't have a 2-minute conversation with her. I just don't have it in me. My anxiety will be triggered. Um,
might have to get me some of that then
yeah,
because
that's one of my
every day
favorites.
at 9 o'clock it triggers me.
But then I realized, well, there's some that if I do this, I'm out. I'll go to bed. And then I'm like, there's some that if I'm on it and Bub takes me to the store, I'm good to go shopping. There's some, and you've witnessed this, where it's like I'm ready to clean the damn house. I can't
Oh
stop cleaning.
man, I remember that time I asked you, said, "Hey, what's good for this or that?" And you said, "Hey, sour diesel's never let me down." So I went to the store and I got some sour diesel, and I came home and had some and was like, "Yeah, whatever." Next thing I know, I'm doing the dishes. I was sweeping the floor. I vacuumed the stairs and shit. And I'm like, then I went outside and I raked leaves. I was like, what in the hell is going on here? This is not what Cheech and Chong told me it was going to be like, you
Right.
know? And I'm finding out that that's a crock because I don't know anybody that gets Cheech and Chongy. in the movies at least,
Yeah. But I think it's important for people to know that there you can have different experiences from different types. And a lot of people have tried it, they tried it when they were younger and they had a bad experience. But there's a lot that really goes into that. Number 1, well, how much did you consume? Like,
Yeah,
if you started off with more than just a small hit, you probably overdid it. Number 2, where were you at? Who was with you when you did it? Because that really attributes more than people realize into it. Like, I don't there's certain places that I don't wanna do it because 'cause it'll trigger my anxiety and make it even worse.
yeah.
So I think it's important, and you've got the book, Strains for Pains is something that I wrote. It's on Amazon. But it's something that I wrote to keep track
Amazon.
of what works for me and how it works for me, so I'm like, "Okay, I know I have a reference guide to go back to that I know from myself works. Because there's so many types out there, man. You can go to the dispensary and it's like, there's every name in the book. Alaskan Thunderfuck is a strain.
Dude,
It's pretty good.
they got one called Future Ex-Husband, one called Ex-Husband. The lady was listing all this shit to me. I bought some stuff one day called Goat Piss. Like who names there's if I'm gonna name a product that I want you to buy, I'd probably name it like Strawberry Kiss. Something you go, oh, that sounds like you get a
Saturn
nice little taste.
Saturn
I want
Seeker.
some taste like, yeah, I want some taste like piss,
I think I saw some
but
Alien Invasion.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The names are too funny, but I found that like I was listening to that song by Purple Yum Yum. And I was like, well, is that real shit? You said, well, purple stuff, yeah, and blue, and make you sleepy. So I went and I got some purple yum yum in a vape, and we were having one of our veteran meetings, and I was sitting outside, had it in the holder, and literally I went, and I sat there listening to y'all talk. I couldn't open my eyes, I couldn't move. I just was like, oh, but I heard you, and then all of a sudden I came back, and I was like, oof,
That was a good
for about Yeah, I nodded out for a good like 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, that
You
Granddaddy
know,
Purple, Purple Haze, that kinda stuff, it works, man. It does what it's supposed to do, and it's
yeah,
more natural.
I just got some stuff called grape gas. I don't know what it's gonna do, but it was on sale, so
Okay.
I got it. But yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to look for what is my problem. I know if I get alpha pinene, makes the anxiety go up a little bit, but if I get like myrcene and caryophyllene, it comes down. But caryophyllene has got a more of a black peppery kind of bitterness to it.
And for those that
So
are listening, he's naming off different types of terpenes that are in the different strains of cannabis, and each of those, they have a different medicinal benefit and a different flavor as well.
yeah.
So there's flavor
Now
profiles and all kinds of stuff to this.
people tell me, "Oh, this one tastes like mango. And this one tastes like cherry." No, it don't. It all tastes like weed. Just that some are stronger than others in the taste of what it is. Some are real mild. That's my flavor profiles because I think they all basically like a cigar. They kind of all taste the same,
To
But
me, they do taste different because 'cause I've had some that are so gross that I'll like a meat breath, I'm not a
oh, I
fan.
did. What the hell did I have? I did have something that was nasty like that. But since I paid $40, I enjoyed it.
But for some reason, for me, like the Pineapple Express, that's kinda my go-to. Like, that stuff, it doesn't hit too hard. I get a real good focused energy off of it, but if I'm just smoking it or vaping it, I don't cough or anything off like, that one
I'm
just pairs
trying
well.
to. I think this one is white Durban.
Ooh,
This
Durban's
one's
pretty
white.
good.
Yeah, this one's white Durban, and it just gets me on the very back of my tongue a little burn, but it's smooth. You know,
What
and
is
I
that
don't get
Yeah, what does
real
that
high.
Durban do for you? Like, can you give me, like, let's say, a profile of when you consume that, how it helps you? Specifically that Durban?
Not really sure because as you can see, I haven't used very much of it. I just got it, so I'm learning what it does. I haven't had it before, so I don't really know how it's going to affect me too much. But I told him I wanted something that would keep my anxiety at bay. So that should be some of this.
Okay.
And it shouldn't, I told him I wanted something that was going to make me more, I don't know the right word, like creative, I guess is what she said. And I said, yeah, that'll work. So I don't remember what the groupings are in this off the top of my head, but
Okay.
it,
Yeah, let me know
I'm finding out what it is. Yeah, I'll let you know.
because I do like to compare notes because what works for you one way may or may not work for me the same way. But
Yeah, like if you and I sat down and you had a 1 gram joint and I had one of the same stuff, it's going to affect me a lot less than it probably will you. It's not because I have a higher tolerance. This is something wrong with my endocannabinoid system that doesn't process it fully. I get a little elevated, but not zoom. I don't leave the planet.
would you
I get
say
in lower orbit.
when so you mentioned the endocannabinoid system, we all have an EC1 and an EC2. And I'm
Hmm.
asking you because you said that you switched from CBD to THC. Did
Right.
this so CBD is your EC1 system and THC is your EC2 system. Did you
Right.
have the same effects from CBD or did THC work better for you?
THC worked way better for me. CBD worked, but when I first started doing cannabis, I was also doing CBD too, and I wasn't getting anything because I didn't realize that they cancel each other out. So if you want um, to be elevated, but not really, really elevated, add a little CBD and it'll keep you from getting too elevated.
Right.
So my one and my two, they don't work right. They don't absorb it and process it the way that it does for some people. So what I would smoke or vape or whatever would probably be more than somebody else for me to get if I wanted to get elevated. Now, if I just want to get pain and anxiety and stuff, I don't have to do a whole lot. It does take care of that real quick. And that's all I'm worried about. Does it take care of the pain in my knee, the pain in my back, my mental aspect? I'm fine. That's all I want it to do, and it does. And it's natural. It grew in a fucking ground. It's not some chemical that they can jack the price up on any time they want.
And it's
And
not
if I
going to
knew
give you
how
all the
I,
side effects, right?
yeah, the side effects, I don't have any side effects. I don't wake up in the morning like I did when I was on Ambien or Lunestra, where I was dragging ass,
Or
you know,
alcohol.
or alcohol.
Uh,
Yeah, there was times I'd go to work. My last couple of years in the Navy, I'd get to work and I'd be at work for like an hour or so. My brother would be downstairs and I'd be like, how the fuck did I get to work?
Man,
So yeah, I
just
came through the
feeling like
gate and
I'm
everything and went to
not
work.
oh, feeling like a bag of smack dicks.
Yeah, I was still drunk sometimes,
Yeah.
and I would sober up at work. I never missed work. It never affected my job, in that aspect, but I ruined my health and all kinds of shit drinking and damn near ruined my life completely. So I quit 5 years, a little over 5 years ago.
I'm
And
proud of you.
I wasn't looking for this to take its spot. But when I started having more problems, I needed to look into something. And, my dad was a cop and he said he'd rather deal with stoners than drunks. Tell a stoner to stop and go away. They're like, okay, dude, away they go. Drunks want to fight. So my dad, he doesn't know because he was a cop and I ain't going to tell him because I'm still a little kid to him, I think. But it's made a big help, a difference in my life. It helps, you know. And if
Uh,
anybody's overweight and you get something with a humulene in it, that terpene is the anti-hunger terpene.
do you mind talking about that a little bit? Your health journey, where you went to where
Well,
you are now? Do you want to discuss that at all?
sure, I'll tell you about it.
Yeah.
So I joined the Navy in 1985. I weighed 185 pounds. I was lean and trim and did everything I was supposed to do. As time went on and my alcohol increased, I got heavier and heavier. And by the time I got out of the Navy, I had spent the last pretty much half of my career on the remedial PRT program.
Fep.
Yep, I was a dancing bear, and I was just about to get kicked out. I had 19 and a half years in, and we got a new CO, and he said, "Look, man, I'll help you stay in, retire with full honors, as long as you come to the FEP every day and make sure these young people have a role model to follow after because you're doing so good." And I lost weight, but I was still 292 pounds at 6 foot tall. I was way overweight. When I retired, I got up to 325, and I had NASH, which is non-alcoholic liver something. I became type 2 diabetic. I had a lot of problems. It was all health. It was all alcohol related and weight related.
Big
The
fridge.
medicine, yeah, that's why I was called Big Frizz for so long. So I went and had gastric sleeve surgery. Got to have the magic bullet. Well, I kept drinking. As I drank, you eat and do all this. I gained it all back and stayed fat for a long time until, I don't know, one day I just stopped doing whatever, and I changed everything. What I eat, how I don't drink anymore. Um, I try to do more like along a kind of like keto, but not really. And it's helped. And I'm down to, I think I was 196 last night when I stepped on the scale.
Wow. So
And
from
my diabetes,
325
my,
to
yeah,
196.
196, 196. So my, all my blood panel have been, the last blood panel I did at the VA, everything was like perfect. Like they were like, wow, everything's perfect except for one thing. And I had it for some reason, extremely high level of THC.
How'd you do that?
I don't know how that happened. It might have been somebody else's piss. I don't know.
What'd the doctor have
But
to say about that?
well, they all said the same thing. What does it do for you? I said, it helps me sleep and it takes away my anxiety. And then they said, good enough. So the VA stance now is if you're doing it and you're doing it healthy, they don't care. It used to be they could stop all your treatment and stuff if you were um, popping on, THC. But now, I go in there and I'll be way up on that chart, and they just say, "All right, is it working for you?" Yep.
Yeah, I think they as of last year, they no longer test for that in my state anyways, and it is something that I did discuss with her, my doctor at the VA, and, she didn't agree nor disagree with me, but she sees the results, and then she also knows I'm not gonna take the medicine that she prescribes because there's so many, it's for everything. I'm like, "Can we have something like do we have anything holistic, anything natural?"
I take this every day. This is my anti-crazy pill. It's Effexor 150 milligrams extended release. I take it every day until I figure that I'm going to, maybe I'll start weaning off of it. Now that I'm using other medicines and I'm finding out what's working, I might be able to stop this. But if I just stop this, the withdrawals, the first time I did withdrawal was cool. This past time I ran out, my doctor was on vacation, nobody would fill my shit. That was not fun. So I ended up going to the emergency room to get it refilled. I don't want to have to do that shit. I can just go get this and I'm good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely an improvement, and probably less side effects, like you'd mentioned earlier. You personally don't have any from your cannabis consumption.
No, no, I don't seem to have any problem with it. I can do my whatever it is. I'll get a little bit elevated for a little bit, and then I'm just kind of I can go about my business, I can go about my day. I can go shopping, I can go to the mall,
Well, I
you
don't wanna
know.
put you on the spot, but I wanna ask because I think this will be hilarious, but how can you say that cannabis has helped you out in public dealing with, I don't know, maybe stupid people? 'Cause I know we deal with that on the daily. especially
I
taking
seem to I seem to attract assholes. Like the first day I came home with Bean. We stopped to get her some food. I put her up where the kids sit in the cart. And the guy said, "You can't do that." I said, "She's not a pet, and it's ADA and it's HIPAA and all that." And the guy's like, "Can't." I'm like, "Well, I couldn't pull those out of my head and tell him." So I took her out. But then I was talking to people and I said, "Oh, she can as long as there's a barrier in there." But if I hadn't been doing this before I got there, there might have been a problem, because and I've got to the point where now I don't really argue with you. If you're not going to treat me as a human and respectful, I'll just go tell your supervisor. I don't care. I don't care if you lose your job. You did it to me. I had a guy do it at Walmart the other day with the shopping carts out in the parking lot, and I went in and I complained about him. And when the manager of the store called me back, said, "Well, saying his first time." I said, "Well, I didn't figure it was." How nonchalantly he told me to go. "You can go get a fucking cart in that corral." I was like, "What? Excuse me, there, buddy." Oh, holy shit. So yeah, if I don't have this,
Let me ask you this,
I get agitated.
7 years ago, had that happened, how would Big Frizz have responded to that situation?
One of two things, depending on how it went. Anxiety attack, panic attack, because those have sent me to the hospital twice. Felt like I was having a heart attack. Or I don't get violent. I don't get mean, but I will take care of business on you if I have to. And that's probably what would have happened 7 years ago. I would have just opened a can of whoop ass. And when you're mocking me and belittling me, it aggravates me more than anything else in the world. And in my trigger trips. But if I have a little something, it doesn't bother me as much. I have the ability to rein it in and go, "Wow, that person's fucking stupid," and just leave it at that.
Do you
Or I go
see
tell their manager.
do you understand how big of a difference that is? Like,
Oh, it's a
from having
huge difference.
a complete panic or anxiety attack there, one of the worst places to be, like, oh my gosh, that would be hard to recover from, for one, or just getting in trouble for doing some bullshit, and
Yeah.
that's been one of my biggest realizations when I was like, "Holy shit, I didn't even respond to that," where, like you said, I'm like, I'll laugh at it, like, "Must be having a bad day," or, "What a
Uh,
dipshit."
I still wave to people in their car and do all that stuff. And I get aggravated and I curse and yell and get pissed off. My wife hates riding with me whenever she does hang out with me. But ever since I've been doing this, if I go to the mall for something or I go to Walmart or whatever, take Bean for a walk, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me. You can say what you want. You can do what you want. But yeah, a while back, if this would have happened when I was still drinking and shit, yeah, it would have ended up bad.
I know.
You know.
I think this is one of the things, like, especially with service animals, that people just don't know, right? And I've run into this on the road quite a bit, where places said I couldn't bring Stryker in. The last place I went down to the military influencer conference in Atlanta, Georgia, back in the beginning of October, and I took Stryker up to Army Corps Engineers Park, where they've got this beautiful dam, and I went in to get my all access pass because that was like the only location I've been around the nation that would do it on the spot. And the guy looked at me and he goes, "No dogs." I said, "It's not a dog." And I proceeded to talk to him and he like listened to my whole like what I was looking for and he goes, "If it's not a dog, then what is it?" I was like, "That's my service animal." He goes, "Isn't that a dog? We don't allow dogs." I'm like, "It's a service animal. He's allowed to be in here." And I was pretty calm about it, but internally, I was like, "You fucking idiot," and I wanted to school him and make him feel belittled, And I didn't though. I maintained my calm and look, right then his manager came out and he was an army veteran in Vietnam, and he's kind of the boss. And when he came out, this dude just quit talking altogether and gave me the information I needed. And I should have addressed it with them or educated them, but I was grateful for the guy coming out, getting me what I needed, and I just wanted to get the hell out of there. But I realize that people just are unaware and they don't know. And like you said, there's nothing out there after you receive a service animal. There's nothing beyond that. There's no, maintenance. There's no refresher courses. There's no insurances. It's it's really up to that person, and it's taken a lot on, but it's worth it.
Well, one of the things that I found funny is like if you go into Walmart, they'll say no pets in the cart. And that's fine, man. No pets in the cart. But they're talking about in where you put your groceries. So I was like, well, she's up in the front seat. She can't be there. So I looked it up and I thought, well, it must be because of the metal that it's made of are so small that they could break their little legs and stuff in the carts. They could get wedged in there and break their legs. Well, it wasn't about that. It was about, now this made me laugh. Hygiene. I'm like, hygiene? Those carts sit out in all kinds of weather and they get bird shit all over them and everything. And all you do is pack them up, run them through a door. They're not sanitized. They're not clean. So you're going to tell me it's a sanitization problem? Well, I was talking with Daniel, the poodle guy, and he said, oh no, ADA regulation says as long as you have something down there that's a barrier between your dog or your service animal and the cart itself, in that spot, they can be there. So you put like a blanket or a towel. I carry a towel with me. I put it in there and I sit our little fat butt up in there and away we go. Because she's so small, people would run her over because nobody looks.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for somebody to try that. I'm just going to tell them, look, while you go look up the ADA regulations and the HIPAA, I'm going to go do my shopping and I'll meet you back up at the front when I'm checking out. Because the only way a service dog cannot or service animal cannot go where you go is if it's the dog is causing a problem, then you both have to leave.
Yeah,
I'll
exclusion
just,
for misbehavior, and that's on
yeah,
me, the handler. Yeah, I just
yeah,
wanted to bring this up because there's actually only 2 questions that you can be asked that staff can ask you, and that is the animal required because of a disability? That's one
correct.
question, and the other question is, what task is the animal trained to perform? There's no documentation required. They cannot be allowed to charge you pet fees, and that's happened to
Nope.
me. They try to ask for an upfront deposit, and I'm like, "That's illegal." The only exclusion to this, like allowing your pet in, is if it's not housebroken or if it's posing a direct threat to the health or safety of others. So as long as your pet's clean
Right.
and well behaved because you work with it and you can and it's legitimate, really trained to perform its task, then
Well, I found out talking with the poodle guy that if you were going to fly with your service animal and your service animal's never flown before, you can call the airport and they can set it up to where you can go through a customs type thing and you're able to sit on the plane and an empty plane, one maybe being cleaned or serviced. You can sit on the plane with your dog so that the dog will get the feel, the dog will know where to go and all this stuff. So there's so many things out there that are just not out there.
right,
They exist, but I would have never thought about calling the airport going, hey, can I bring Bean over here? I only live like 5 miles from the airport. Can I come over there on whatever day you say is available, run my dog through a plane and stuff so I can get, so she's not so panicky if we get to the airport.
right.
And there supposedly there's a group that will do that and let you do that.
And even board the plane, correct?
Yes. They take you on a plane that's being cleaned or a plane that is being serviced, not in service at the moment. And you're able to walk in, sit down, uh, see the stuff, see how your dog reacts to being sitting in them smaller confined area and stuff. And it was pretty neat to hear that. And then I looked it up and I was like, yeah, you can. You know, there's a lot of that stuff that's out there, but you're not told it. Like I said, the keys to the Ferrari, and there you go. You know, learn as you go. And I don't like learn as you go.
No, you gotta
So
practice. I remember some of the funniest shit that I had to do was, for one, Stryker in malls, he hated the slick floor. So
yeah,
he would walk, like, in a prone like, sliding his belly around. He hated that for the longest time. Escalators was one that I had to practice over and over. So I would go to the mall and go up and down the escalator because he freaking hated it. Now when he gets on there at the end, I taught him, "Jump," and we make it fun. So he just leaps off of the damn thing. But, you
see,
have
I got to start doing that. Would be
if we were to ever fly, I would have to do just exactly that. I would wanna make sure that he's okay, going through the security and, he's pretty used to being in large crowds of people like that because of the malls and all the places I take him. But getting on an airplane might we've never done that, and I wanna make sure that he wouldn't react
right.
poorly or freak out upon entrance of one.
Did
So
you know that before I
I didn't know
said
that
that?
until you told me. I'd never thought of that.
Didn't think of it either. And that's why I said, you know, with what I want to do, that'll be part of it. There'll be a lot of information there for the handlers on what you can't do, and how you can get all kinds of help.
Not only is that needed, but just service animal awareness for people in general. For example, like it would behoove people to know don't just walk up and pet a service animal. Like
Yeah,
some animals, they're trained to watch. And if you come over real fast to pet it, you might get nipped at because you're encroaching quickly and they see you as a threat. Like you need to ask before you pet because you don't
right.
know what that pet, that animal is trained to do either.
Yeah, we were at Walmart a couple weeks ago, and Bean and I were smelling candles to see what would be a good one for the house. And this little girl come up and start to pet her, and well, luckily Bean's really good and she loves to be petted. And she doesn't care. But I had to tell the little girl, look, you can't do that. And I happened to look over and I seen the girl's dad just standing back listening to me talk to the little girl. And he was like, it's like, you just can't do that because you don't know. And even I don't know what Bean would do in that situation. Because I never had anybody just rush up to her and just start petting her,
Yeah.
you know. But
Yeah.
she's got all the things that say ask before petting and all that stuff, just in case, you know.
And that is very dog specific. In my case, Striker, he's okay with kids. Both he and Spike love kids, so I'd never ever worry about him with children. However, there's certain people that put off a vibe that Striker just doesn't care for. And I have been in a store where someone's children are petting him, and when the parent would come over, he would not like them, and then he would try to board, like herd them towards me, away from the person. I'm like, come on, and I would have to call him back, back to me. So it's very,
Hmm.
very dog dependent. And yeah, just don't rush up on people with service animals. Always talk to them. I'll break the rules. I'll let you pet them in the vest because they love the pets too.
Yeah. Well,
Just
it's
that.
like some people have the collars and the leashes red, yellow, and I think green. Um, but people don't know what that means. I mean, red, don't touch. I think
Mhm.
it's red, orange, and something. And the lighter the color, the better chances of being able to be around the dog. But when it's red, don't touch. And a lot of people don't understand that either. So I don't think there's a lot of I don't think society's aware of everything that goes around having service animal, whether it's you're deaf, you're blind, you're handicapped, or it's an emotional support animal or whatever. That there's a lot of things that the handler has to be aware of, and tries to make it aware. But I don't think people are aware that, oh, I can just go up to this dog and pet it. Well, it's got a red leash on it. A lot of people don't know what that means. It
Right.
means don't pet.
That's assuming
Ask,
so young.
definitely. But
You know,
for us, that's kind of we know that, but there's a lot of people out there that just don't know, especially kids, and that's something that needs to be. People need an education on that. Even I do, because I'm learning stuff right now that I obviously didn't know. about service dogs because I never had one.
Right. It's a lot to take in, and it's a lot. Before we wrap up, can you show us
Yeah,
being I see her laying there. Can you reach it? I know
yeah, she's
everybody's
right.
dying to see what's behind them. There she is. Hi, Bean.
This is the bean. Bean, look right here. There she is. This eye looks like she's got a cataract, but she got scratched on the cornea.
Okay.
You need a mint. And she's got a little nick in her eyelid down there, but she's tired. She just wants to lay down. You want to lay down? You can lay down.
Well, Frizz, I
You were
wanted to
happy the way you were, weren't you? Hang on, I can
she was
put
like,
that.
"I was sleeping, and you picked me up." Like, "What's this?" "Hey, daddy." Oh, now you're getting all the lovin's.
Is
Well,
my baby.
I wanted to thank you and Bean. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. I
Thank
always have
you.
a good time talking to you, and always love talking about animals. And I'm
Yeah,
really excited to see where this mission takes you. And I want you to know that I'm 100% behind you. And I'm excited because I think that this is an area that is just so uneducated,
underserved,
unexplored,
underserved and uneducated.
right?
Yeah,
And so,
yep. I feel like I know a bunch of people, you, so a bunch of other people that I trust in this, and I've had a lot of people say that they're willing to help me out on this scooter. A bunch of other people, So
yeah, and Daniel, the fluffy poodle guy,
Daniel,
he's
yeah,
such a
yep,
smart
yep.
dude, and his dog, man, is phenomenal, phenomenal, but
Them
he is a wealth of
videos
information.
are so neat for that dog.
Yeah, too cool, but keep doing what you're doing, and again, thank you for sharing the love, sharing the smile, and definitely the awareness. We covered quite a bit today, so
Yeah, I think
you're
so.
being
Hopefully,
awesome.
it makes sense.
I hope so, and if anybody has questions or wants to reach out, just comment on the video, and I'll get back to you. If you have any questions for Frizz, again, comment on the video. I will get in touch with him, and we will go from there. So, with that said, I'm gonna
Yeah,
shut her down. You guys have an amazing day. What's the what
you
temperature
too.
out in Baltimore?
It's like 30 degrees, but the wind is bitter, cold, and blowing. No snow,
Oh,
just
goodness.
real cold and windy.
Well, stay warm. Put your outfits on, your matching outfits before
That's
you
right.
go.
That's right. We get matching pajamas with each other's face on it.
I especially love
So
that Christmas one you sent me today with the hat. Oh my
she
god,
looks so happy, doesn't she? She looks like, what the fuck did I do to deserve this?
she loves it.
She
Alright.
does.
Well, you 2 have a great
All
day.
right.
Thanks again, Frizz.